go collect some explosives? Come with me. I've got an idea. Now, if you're lucky, when the troops pulled out, they left behind anything too heavy to carry. Maybe including artillery shells. If they did, the ammo would be in this warehouse. There's just one problem.
Let me guess. Hordes of shrieking, ravenous undead?
Congratulations. You're less of a fuck-up than some 4-star generals I know.
There we go. I was about to go do some miscellaneous crap, which at this point, I'm not even doing commentary over. Like, I'm not even doing commentary or really, like, trying to record a Let's Play anymore. Like, whenever I'm just wasting time waiting for the next mission to show up, I'm like, I guess I'll just, like, mindlessly save people over and over again while I wait. And I'm just doing that silently with no commentary and just editing it out, mostly.
We've been looking through some of the records the army left behind. Looks like before the main force pulled out, a bunch of soldiers got sick. Sounds like the same thing Alan and Pastor Will had. Anyway, they ran out of room in their infirmary, so they started putting the sick anywhere they could find room, including a certain warehouse.
The warehouse I'm headed to right now.
Yeah, that place is gonna be lousy with zombies.
And to think, I actually had hope for this information.
Well, the good news is it's probably... At least it's not the warehouse that we actually made a home out of. I guess we would have noticed sooner, though. And... poink. Oops. We should be close. Seems like every single other character in the story has vanished entirely from existence. So it's just me and Eric, and I guess technically the woman that talks to us on the radio is the third most prominent character in the story right now, I guess. If you count my character as a character, which of course is a mercurial, ever-changing person, because it's whoever I feel like it is. Oopsie. Have I died yet in this game? I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever died. I think everybody I've ever lost out of my entire crew either died to the Black Fever incident, or they died to those diversion missions, or some other event. Like, they never died because I was playing as them and managed to run out of health and straight up die. Part of that's because we found out that you kind of can recover a little bit from what you suffer. Where is this warehouse? Looks like I'm gonna have some backup, so I shouldn't really be in that much danger. Howdy.
What's the word?
Happy to help.
We might actually unfuck ourselves at this rate.
I figure I'll generally play through the rest of the game as Marcus during story missions just because he's the character that I've had time to actually train and set up. I see what they did here. They specifically put this mission inside the fairgrounds, which means a vehicle can't get inside, I think. Maybe there's somewhere else. That guy just ran off alone to die. What are you doing, dude? I guess that works. Weird. The screamer knocked everybody back. The screamer just saved that soldier, actually. That's weird. Oh my god. That's so many zombies. That's a legit problem. Thankfully, probably the biggest upside of using guns is the fact that it doesn't use stamina. So you're free to just use guns for a while, without being in that much direct risk. Oh, get out of that. There goes my stamina. Alright, use a painkiller real quick. One of you guys can take that guy, right? What are you doing? They ran past him. Don't run into that, dummy. This is so weird. These missions are weird. So I have 3 people that are party members that follow me around constantly, and one dude that just takes off on his own. It's weird how they don't move it. Why don't the 4 of them operate as a unit? Nothing about their behavior makes sense to me. Where's this guy going? He's not even going towards the objective. Is he just ejecting out of the mission because he's like leftover? In which case, Like, I'm so... What the hell? What the hell? Who's just gonna hang out here? Is this our HQ? That's so weird. It's so weird. Their AI does the weirdest things. Like, nobody played that mission and was like, that's weird how that guy runs off, right? Maybe we should change that. Just have one less soldier in this mission so it's not weird. I guess this is your maximum party size is 4 people. But there's 4 people when I get here, so a random one of them just goes sprinting off into the wilderness to die. And you have to like really put work into saving him or he'll just go die. Weird. Okay. Weird. Okay. Hey, buddy. Wow. Wow. This weapon's really working out. This is actually the easiest way in, probably, is to go through the window. Or I can't. Never mind. I just noticed the chain link. I'm like, I bet the easiest way to get in through here would just be to hop through. Oh, we attracted some attention. Thankfully, we have an absolutely massive group of people here. Close that door. You're gonna let the draft in. Oh, Jesus. It's interesting how continually all the Eric missions have just required my character to show up and basically take control of the situation. Just because, like, I have so little to do with his plans, ultimately. He can just do what he wants. Like, seems like I can't control that door. But it's definitely made weirder by the fact that he's already part of a 4-person team, and then they just abandon one of those people to die the moment I show up, as if they've upgraded or something by letting me in. Can you go inside these tents?
No Zeds here.
Only here. No searching though? Alright. So we need to find the correct way inside. I also probably need to reload, right? Yep. Compiled shipping containers, some canisters that might explode. Okay. That's what I thought it would do. Got an achievement called the Bruce. I don't know what that means. Probably a reference to a movie. Usually your zombie achievements... Usually achievements in zombie games are constantly references to movies. Oh, they ran all the way around the fence. Interesting move there. Did I just take out both of the special infected that way? Is everybody inside dead now? Did I, like, totally nail it? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hi. Fall. That guy down there's not really good news, but can he climb? Oh, Screamer. No more of that. Guys, fight that. Fight that dude. What are you doing? Are you all invincible right now? What's going on? That's so weird. Okay. We're going. You guys alright down there? Oh, hey, one of you found the way up. There we go. We had a main enemies? Yeah. That was weird how they were just, like, walking. I guess these guys are gonna try to murder us. Let's just let them. How under attack am I? Very. No? No, you guys got them. Ooh. Ammo supplies and a bunch of random guns. And a grenade launcher. That uses grenade launcher ammo. Descriptive name for an ammo type.
Nice.
Holy crap, that really causes me some problems for my encumberment. Damn. These are good weapons too. Nope, gotta reload first. Didn't finish. Just realized I had space for one more gun if I did this. Gonna have to deal with being encumbered, though, which is not ideal. Screw it, hyper-encumberment, go.
Back at base.
Erg. Oh wow, that stamina goes down fast. Hey,
Zombies coming up behind us.
I got 3 people to rely on, so I'll just let them do the heavy lifting, hopefully. This could get me in trouble.
Here we go. Open sesame. Zombies up ahead. Go through or go around.
You get him.
Bingo. That's exactly what we need.
Roger that. I'll take care of these. You go make sure you and your people are all stocked up and ready to blow this shit stand.
Alright, so that's it. Oh, the mission's just over. Huh. Abrupt? I guess that explosion really wiped everybody out, huh? Like, I think I was supposed to fight
Remain in
people
your
in here.
homes with the doors locked and the windows secured. If you do not comply with these instructions, the Army will not take responsibility for you being chewed on by Zeds. Thank you. And by American.
Eric made it back to that radio really fast. Considering I just saw him on camera like 10 seconds ago. Yeah, I think this place was full of zombies, but I blew up that thing behind the house, so it just wiped out everybody in the entire building like in one go. Except what? Except that one zombie. Huh. Well, now I just gotta carefully find my way out of here without getting surprised and murdered, because now I'm alone. And it was definitely safer with the full group. If I can just get back to the vehicle, I'm safe. I have to try not to run too much. Mishandled gun again. There we go, back in the vehicle. Go, go, go! Erp. There we go, now I'm safe. A very full backpack full of high-powered weapons that I might be able to distribute between party members a bit. The question is which ones, just because I don't know which ones might help later or not at certain points, and so on. Whoopsie.
You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to teach some of your skills to other folks. It might be a good idea if you train some of the rest of us.
Teach Paul a trick or two. Who? You know, Paul. Good old friend Paul, one of our favorite people in the camp. Who? Oh, that poor sign. I've obliterated it so many times. Some poor guy that doesn't understand that the apocalypse has happened just keeps putting it back up over and over again. I mean, I want to salute him for his dedication, but man, he's just wasting his effort. Sure is lucky of him to somehow not encounter the apocalypse at any point in this storyline. Good for him, I suppose. Oop. There we go. There we go.
How's it going?
I'm almost there.
We'll crack open a cold one for you.
Fortunately, I can't say that I have anything to give. Might as well swap out, though. I mean, I don't have anything in the vehicle right now. I just have this one bag. So our resources are doing great. I've got like 250 food. And the game still claims I can only carry like 110 or something. It just doesn't make
Found
sense.
this while I was out.
What you got?
Oh, you know, stuff.
These videos are backlogged right now, so like it'll be a while before this airs, so I don't know if anyone's pointed out the meaning of this situation in the comments at some point. But I just feel like it's super weird, right? I feel like I'm not told. I think I'm just gonna stock up on this weapon, a bunch of ammo. I think this will be my go-to for the next run, is just to have. Yeah. For the next story mission, I'm just gonna have a bunch of painkillers on my character. 2 stacks of painkillers, 4 stacks of ammo, 2 stacks of Twinkies, and then we should be good to go. This is another character that can carry 4 of everything, thankfully. Ibugaine. Numbs the pain. I'm going to go with that just because I can stack it better. I couldn't find what the other one was. It's fine. Alright, so we're good to go. We have like 1,000 influence. So at this point I've basically won the game. Because like these numbers are gargantuan. I have about 20 people. Could keep finding more slowly, I think. But I have maxed out every stat. I haven't maxed out every stat, but I have 3 of my resource types are over capacity. 2 of them are about at 100, which is still huge. I have 1,000 influence. Morale is high. Nobody's died for 1,000 years, basically. Yeah, what does this game think that number means? I just don't understand. Maximum storage 110. I have 243. Like, even if some commenter has insight that explains the reason I'm above capacity and how it's working, surely you can see why that number doesn't make sense, right? Like, on like an intuitive level, it doesn't make sense how I have over double the maximum capacity. I have 243 out of 110. Like that, whatever that maximum means, its meaning is not conveyed very well, and clearly doesn't seem to be penalizing me because I'm never getting punished for like, I never get in trouble for like having too much food. Like it's not spoiling, it's not going bad. People aren't getting sick. It's not like we're not like tripping over because it's filling up too much space. In fact, this place is so gargantuan and empty that the idea that we have limited storage space for anything is already kind of a false premise. And in fact, it seems to just all be in here, and honestly, this does not look like... If I would have...
Ready to go. Just waiting on you.
Oh, hey, it started. If I would say that this here does not look like this does not look like somebody having overcapacity for food. It looks like it's totally within capacity. It looks like there's tons of space left in there. I think this is it. I think this is the ending. Leave Trumbull Valley. Okay. So I just go for it, I guess? Do I have to select it first, I wonder? It's already selected. This is it. I think I'm gonna beat this game. Which I do quite enjoy. There's just weirdness to it. Right, I should heal real quick and grab another healing item real quick. I was using ibugaine, which is apparently ibuprofen, but they didn't call it that on the label, which is... Huh. Ibuprofen's probably the generic term, like aspirin and stuff like that, whereas the actual thing on it's probably the brand. I thought ibuprofen was a brand name, but I guess not. I knew aspirin wasn't, because tons of people have their aspirins, like Tylenol. Medical naming gets confusing. Alright. You're kind of beat up, but I think I'll stick with you. It's not smoking yet. Clink. So I go there? Weird. They say we're all set to leave, but my objective is just to go all the way over there. Alone? I'm just surprised because you'd expect the mission to start here in the base, because then we'd all have to like evacuate, right? I figured we'd have like a caravan going towards the wall and you have to like protect them on the way there or something. I guess they're just gonna grab the explosives. Oh, that's why this ending feels so inelegant and weird. I just realized it's because they're like, look, that's the wall, we gotta get past that wall. Okay, let's go get the explosives, then we'll blow up the wall. But for some reason you go to the wall, then you give up and come back, then you get the explosives, then you give up and come back, then you breach the wall. Like that's what's weird, is that if it was going to be a big final climax, it should all be one mission. Like it should be like you find the water that's all corrupted and tarnished, and you're like, we have to get out of here, we're all gonna die. All right, we gotta get past this wall, and then in one big emergency mission, everybody is like, we gotta get past this wall, what are we gonna do? And like, oh, here, like maybe all the people in your like my 19 people, maybe my 18 people that I'm not playing as right now, maybe they all have to maybe they all have to
build them out of a jam.
That's what it should be. They should have to defend that chunk of wall over there. Yeah, they have to defend that chunk of wall. And then while they're defending the wall, I run off with the military guys to go get the explosives and bring them back to then take out this wall. And then much like the suicide mission for Mass Effect 2, like how many people I have and how well equipped they are and stuff like that, and how morale's doing would affect whether or not they survive defending the wall or how many of them are left and stuff like that, then you blow up the wall. That would be a really cool final mission. Instead, this is happening, which is just weird. Just the lack of immediacy is really strange for the emergency that we were introduced to in the story. Hello? Those are my characters. Some of them. What's your name again? Oh, hey. She's the radio lady. Let's see. So right off the bat, we have Lily Ritter. We have this guy, Joseph Olafson. Attitude is paralyzed. Great. He sounds helpful. Has very low stats. Not a character I specialized in.
Sounds like the situation out there has changed.
Then we have Anna. And Anna here has decent stats. But I don't get Sam. No Gurabani, or Sam, or Jackson, or even, or Jacob. If these are randomly chosen characters, I lost this dice roll, basically. This is not a good selection of characters for me. Uh-oh.
Okay, this is it. Needless to say, this kind of explosion's gonna raise 7 different kinds of hell, so if you've got any unfinished business, now's the time. Alright, I'm gonna set the charges. Cover my ass. I'm guessing nobody else here knows how to set blasting charges, so they'll actually take down the barricade without collapsing the pass.
Well, I've got ammo. We have to defend this guy from waves of zombies. And we got a group of 4 people, so that works. They're not my best people, but they're a group of 4 people. Whoa! Right, he's one of the... Right, he's probably been one of the guys that's always manning the tower. That makes sense. What kind of ammo does he have, though? Do NPCs have ammo capacity? Or they just keep shooting? That's a big group. Okay, so these people don't work... Interesting. These characters don't work as random, as party members. They're actually doing whatever they feel like. Oh. That's a problem. Top priority. Got him. There we go. Still leveling up that shooting. I'm definitely prioritizing special infected whenever they show up. Whoop. Danger. Oh. That little wind up for the decapitation is odd looking. I think he actually got the hit on that. Oh, we're good? Okay.
Everybody clear? Okay. Fire in the hole! Well, shit.
What happened?
Let me put it in technical terms. No boom. Must be a problem with the detonator. Keep these assholes off me while I go check.
Okay. Oh, there's more assholes this time. Problem. Oh, that's another one. Oh, God. There we go. We have acquired additional assholes. You good? He's good. Oh wow, they're everywhere around here. Another one?
Cover me.
God damn it. Okay, problem. Nope. 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 Nope.
Here comes trouble.
Not a good spot
Well,
to be in.
ladies and gentlemen, we are royally screwed. The detonator's shot, or else the receiver is. Bottom line, there's no way to blow this thing from a safe distance.
Can't we just shoot it? Set it off that way?
What is this, an action movie? This is C4 we're talking about here. You can light it on fire and it won't go off. It only detonates if you hit it with an electrical current.
So, what? We're trapped?
Well, unless somebody walks up to the bomb, rips the electrical leads out of the detonator and jams them into the charge by hand, yeah.
I'll do it.
What?
I'll set it off.
No,
Look,
you can't.
I'm living on borrowed time as it is. It's not like anyone's still making the meds I need, right? Please. I'd rather go out like this than lying delirious in a bed somewhere.
Sorry, kid. If we're going by who's dying first, I got you beat by at least a few months. Besides, you wouldn't even know which end of the wire to strip.
You sure about this?
Christ, no. I want to live. But, well, since that's not looking too likely, I might as well be the guy you tell your grandkids about. Hey. You assholes better build a statue of me.
Get out of the radius!
Let's move!
Damn!
Wait a minute.
Lily, we don't have the time.
Just a second.
Did you bury the watch?
What is that?
I wanted to leave something behind for the people that didn't make it. Even if nobody knows what it means but us. They deserve to be remembered.
Come on, Lil.
There was nothing left of him.
Mother of God.
What do we do now?
We go to work.
Oh, it just... Whoa. That's an abrupt ending. Whoa. Just cut to credits. So I think what they're going for there at the end is that they show that behind the gate there is nothing there. Or, I mean, there's no people there. It's all... It's more bodies and more destroyed vehicles, which suggests that the quarantine had already failed anyway, and that's probably why they got pulled out. Anyone who was left was probably pulled out because of the fact that everybody got wiped out, and it was already spreading to worldwide. So I'm guessing State of Decay 2 is probably a sequel where it's a global problem. Story got weird. Story got really weird. So it boils down to being a series of neighbors, right? So there's the Wilkersons, which just vanish. Right when they did something horrible to her, I'm like, well, from here on out, I'm not siding with them anymore, but then there's just no more missions for them. Then there was the other people at the coffee house place. They just disappeared, too. And then there's, the guy that gave me the car. He just showed up like, I'm gonna make this place better. Here's a nice car. Then he never shows up again. The only places that have an ending is that there's one story that's tragically cut short, which is that the judge house, over at the judge location, everybody gets wiped out. Not everybody, though, just specifically the two characters you know, the sheriff and the judge both get wiped out. There's clearly a bunch of people in that house, they're still alive. So that kind of has an ending with as far as the two characters go, but everybody else doesn't really have an ending. And then the main story, arguably the military people are the main story, I guess. That's the one that actually has a real ending. So obviously it's a game where the mechanics are kind of the draw, so the story's not the biggest draw, but even if you give it that excuse, you definitely get a sense that the story was incomplete, like very incomplete. That guy that gives you the car, like, they clearly made that character so he would do something at some point, and he doesn't. There's the whole part of, like, finding out that your neighbor person, like you find out about her past as being an escort, and, like, you think that's gonna go somewhere, maybe, and the sheriff but then the sheriff that tells you that just dies in an attack, and then you never hear from that group of people again either. So both stories just die right there without going anywhere. The Wilkersons, like keep hinting at the more and more about being worse and worse, and then they never go anywhere from that. There's no... The story just stops. Like, it just gets cut off. And it's like, it's really, really strangely incomplete. And then there's the criticism I had earlier about like how the finale should really have been one big mission. Every mission in this game is only like 5 to 10 minutes long at most. They're really, really weirdly brief affairs in most cases. And that was a particular case where it was like, the final mission of the game is just to fight a few waves of zombies. And then even when that happens, like the explosions that happen, the final cutscene that happens, the way that people die, the way the voice acting is handled, the way that it's paced out, the lack of camera work, like, you can tell that they either don't have an eye for cinematography and much of an idea for how to handle storytelling, or it was just so rushed and so unfinished that this is just what we end up with. Because, like, it's really weird that, like, in the ending, it doesn't, like, pan around through the destruction and you don't, like... There's nothing cinematic about it. It just very abruptly goes, oh no, what do we do now? And then it cuts to credits. Like, it's so weirdly brief that it's either incomplete or done by somebody that doesn't really know what to do with that stuff. Because, like, there's a few ways to handle this. Like, you can watch a lot of different zombie movies that have, like, some sort of outbreak ending. Like, actually the first best example that comes to mind just right away is the first Resident Evil movie. In the first Resident Evil movie, the people are dealing with a zombie outbreak that's within closed walls. Then they escape those closed walls, or the protagonist escapes those closed walls, and it is revealed in the final shot that, ba-bam, the zombies have spread to the outside world. I think the game froze. Oh, I just hit A. Oh, it just went to continue. Whoops. Weird, it hadn't loaded up the menu, so when I hit A, it clicked continue. Oh, weird. Now I'm back here. So, at the end of Resident Evil, and I don't think this is spoilers because there's like 6 or 7 Resident Evil movies, so like you know that the zombies must have broken out after the first movie, otherwise there wouldn't be a series. Alice wakes up in an abandoned hospital, much like the beginning of Walking Dead, and she walks out into the devastation to see an entirely abandoned city, and you see newspapers and things that'll indicate that the zombies have gotten out and this is an apocalypse, like that. And the camera starts on her, then pulls out over time to show the devastation that's widespread across the entire city. And there's other ways to handle it. One of the ways that people do it sometimes is to pan across the landscape, show some zombies out where they're not supposed to be, like at some gas station on the highway or something. And then have like just play the radio, like play on the radio that one military girl we kept hearing all the time. Play on the radio her talking about how like the zombies have broken quarantine and so on and so forth. Like just something foreboding to show that the world is in trouble now. Instead, the wall blows up and then it just ends. It's like what? That's it? Like I'm trying to articulate why it's unsatisfying, because I think this is an ending where anyone, when they reach it, would be like, that their reaction would be like, huh? That's how it ends? And I'm trying to articulate why it feels weird is because of the lack of this, like, the storytelling panache there. They did the very, very bare minimum, which is generally I think is generally true for most of the story of this game, is that they do the very, very, very bare minimum on a basic mechanical level, just barely establishing something like, this is what happened, boom, and then the mission's like 2 seconds long. And so that really shows through. It's interesting. They have an imagination for mechanics, but not a lot of imagination for story or mission design. It's gonna be interesting. I'm up for playing the sequel, because I did enjoy this game. This criticism comes from a place of love, because I'm talking about like how they could improve the sequel and where I want to see the franchise go. Because there's so many things to do. Like one thing is that the progression needs to have more depth and interesting things. You need more base management, more character management. If you take a squad of people out, you need to be able to issue them commands like, you pick up that, you cover that door, you do stuff like you need to be able to tell people to do things, because their basic AI doesn't do anything interesting and they just walk around in a mob. And it's weird not being able to tell people to pick up supplies when you're surrounded by supplies. Like, you could call a radio to call somebody in, but you can't just tell the guy right next to you to pick it up, as far as I can tell, unless I missed that the entire time. Then you look at this base management, and like, once the number of different buildings you can do is interesting, but the number of upgrades you can do for each one is relatively minor. It'd be interesting if there was like it'd be interesting if there was like a series of different upgrades you could do for each individual building or something like that, as opposed to just like 1 or 2 or 0 in many cases. And maybe more in-depth stuff about like being able to specifically assign different characters to run different buildings like full-time, and that would maybe like remove them from the roster of characters you can play as, and you'd have to manually remove them from that building's duties to make them a playable character, for example. So you're like, that person's the librarian, that person's the gardener, and they're just working that one job full-time, and you can't play them anymore as a playable character unless you like select an option to remove them completely, and that would give you more of an idea of how this place runs itself, as opposed to the current system, which is that you can find it kind of labeled somewhere, but it seems to not really affect the gameplay too much, what you do. And then generally, there's not a lot of resource draws in this game, so like while I keep building up resources, there's not much stopping me from just winning. Like, generally, I didn't really have much that was causing me to need these numbers. I just kept making them bigger, but it didn't really matter usually. At worst, construction materials was dropping a few times, and then the game would be like, morale dropped a bit because of lack of construction materials, I think is what it did. Which isn't the most meaningful outcome, because morale is so easy to level up that you just kill some zombie hordes and the game's like, wow, you're a hero, infinite morale, take all of it. So like, I never felt the consequences of this resource system. It just went up and down a bit, and I mostly could just ignore it the entire game, and it seemed to not matter. And then the game ended, and I'm like, huh, that didn't amount to as much as I thought it would. This stuff is nice. I like that each character has individual stats that go up and down over time. It would have been nice if some characters I wasn't playing as would gain some stats at some point. Like, maybe people that you leave at the base to man individual chunks of your base would have their wits skill go up over time, or maybe people that are manning the guard tower would get shooting or something. Like, this guy, Jacob, is often the guy running the tower, and he only has rank 3 shooting, and it seems like it should be a lot higher considering how much he has to constantly shoot people. So like that stuff feels like a little bit minor. I do like the permadeath system and the way that the crew of characters is essentially like your lives and stuff like that. And I've talked about how the influence system doesn't necessarily make sense, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. It makes sense on a mechanical level, it just doesn't make sense if you try to reconcile that mechanic with the story, but I'm generally okay with story and mechanics not converging very well. But the issue here is that they need 2 major things, I guess 3 major things really. In the sequel, I would hope to see better progression systems for the base itself, better management systems for your survivors, both in the base and when you're out in the field. And then the third big thing is just we need more imagination on the story and mission standpoint. The missions in this game are actually incredibly underwhelming. At the beginning of the game, I wasn't thinking about it because the missions were just naturally weaving in and out of my side activity stuff, so I was happy to just get them out of the way and then go back to doing side stuff. And I kept expecting the game to get more interesting over time with the missions, so I wasn't too bothered by it. But now that I've finished every mission in the game, the main missions, and I guess technically every mission in the game, because the side missions are just looping side missions forever, they didn't really amount to much. It generally involved going to an infestation and clearing it out, or escorting a person across the map, which wasn't interesting because all you had to do is pick them up in a car and drive them somewhere. And like, if you compare this to most open world games, you'll see that usually people come up with more interesting things to do and more interesting reasons for why you're doing it than this game generally does. Most missions in this game are 5 to 10 minutes at best. You perform actions that you normally perform when you're not doing the mission, and the storyline trappings for them, even within the genre of zombie stories, is relatively uninspired. It's the most basic stuff of, here's the bad guy group, they want people's stuff. Here's the good guy group, they're just trying to get by. Here's the military group, they're kind of selfish, but they also you might be able to work with them to accomplish something. And like, the story arcs don't really go anywhere. And in fact, most of them don't even get an ending aside from the one that lets you escape this place. And then the other chunks of the story, the steps along the way aren't very interesting. And even when you're doing something that seems like it's supposed to be important, the way it's executed doesn't really amount to much. Like, the climax of this game was finding the poisoned water supply, wanting to escape, finding the wall, finding the explosives to blow up the wall, and then doing, like, a few waves of like, zombie defense while blowing up said wall. Which was confusing in its own way, because why were the zombies even showing up in the first place? Because why were the zombies even showing up in the first place, considering the fact that we, like, hadn't made noise yet? That could be explained in the story if they made 2 walls. Like, there's like, oh, there's a redundant wall so they can keep people out. So, like, we blow the first wall, and like, the moment we blow this first wall, we're screwed. You understand that? Zombies are gonna be coming in from every direction. Then we have to go in to set up the explosives on the second wall and blow that up while we're under fire, and that's when we're really in trouble. Like, that's one way to address that kind of thing, and it has, like, a raising stakes and bad things happening. But, instead... And as I said before, like, it's really weird that that's 3 or 4 different missions. Like, the most interesting development is probably the poisoned water and some of the Black Death stuff, but having it just be like, here's the Black Death, now let's do several missions over the course of weeks where we slowly blow up the wall. I'm like, why? Why? There's no immediacy to that. Like, it actually, like, in the time between me finding out the wall and finding out the explosives, it actually was hours of gameplay between me finding out about that and then getting the explosives finally. Thankfully, the wall part happened, like, right away. But yeah, it's like, it was weird not having the game immediately go, like, we gotta get this done right now. Like, there was no immediacy, so, like, we just went back to our daily business of doing side quests ad nauseum because the story didn't have, like, the pacing it needed. Like, basically, they need to... If they're gonna go forward and if they want to improve the story, they'd either need to massively refocus how they handle it, or they need to find somebody who can write a good zombie story, because it's one of two things. Either they don't really have much imagination on this topic, or it was just an afterthought, which seems very likely. It seems very likely that the story was likely an afterthought, because we know this game had a troubled development, because it was originally meant to be like a massively multiplayer online zombie game, and it turned into a mission-based open-world single-player game, and, like, massive retoolings of the game likely happened, and so, like, I'm very optimistic about the sequel based on the idea that that one will probably have a much more focused development, because they would have already decided on its identity in advance, and I'll be happy to see where that goes. So that's my criticisms of this game, which is a game I've quite enjoyed, and enjoying it makes the issues shine so brightly. Just like how when I played, like, Mass Effect 1 and 2, I'm like, I like these games, here's the problems that get really obvious when you play them for a while, though. So that's been it. Thanks for watching State of Decay, guys. We'll be back with State of Decay 2 when it comes out. And I think I'll be playing that with Wanderbot and Birdcatcher, so that'll be interesting, because they're making the next one a multiplayer game. You are not going down. There we go. Very bulletproof, but not very machete-proof. See you next time.